It's been an entire year, and I have a yearly debt update for you. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Almost Organized Hour, where we are on a mission to get organized in our finances through budgeting, cash stuffing, and savings challenges. If that is something that interests you, please stick around. All right, so let's go into this November debt update. It has been quite a while. I think it was in March the last time that I provided you all with a debt update. The summer months were very busy, extremely spendy, and not a whole lot of debt paying going off outside of our traditional bills. There wasn't too much happening there. So this debt update is going to reflect that, but we still made decent progress. So let's get into it. Here we are. So our starting balance back in October of 2022, which is when I started this, we started to aggressively pay attention to our finances and try to tackle this debt. Was in October of 2022, and that balance at the time was $256,961.92. And that includes student loans and some other debt that we had as well, medical and so forth. So our children's medical bill balance started off at $190, and we have paid that, so that is now zero. The ortho was $840 with a minimum payment of $140, and that balance is now zero. Then we have the ambulance bill, and that was for all of those who may be new. That bill was for our youngest. We ended up having to take her to the emergency room because she had respiratory issues, and that bill was $1904 with a minimum payment of $150, and that is now zero as well. Next is our HOA past due. So the HOA past due bill was $2,590 with a minimum payment of $700, and that is at zero as well. And then we have student loan number one at $3,604 was the starting balance in October, as of October 2022. And that minimum payment is $150 a month. We were able to put that on a bit of a pause for a few months, but then they kicked back in before the regular student loans kicked back in. It wasn't under the federal student loan pause. Okay. And that current balance is at $2,760, and we have paid $844 of that one so far, and that's the one that we're going to be tackling next. Next is the Bank of America credit card, and that had a starting balance of $9,281 with a minimum payment of $275, and that balance is currently zero. The $9,281 was then transferred to a small loan, personal loan that we had, so that we could get rid of the interest that we had on the Bank of America credit card. I think it was something upwards of 24%, something like that. All right, next is the car loan, and that starting balance was $11,328, minimum payment $472, and our current balance is $5,517, and we paid about $6,000 on that loan since last year. Okay, the interest is very minimal on there. When I looked, I think over the course of the year, the interest was about $400 and something year to date. Okay, so then we have personal loan number one, and we took out $10,000 for that one. That was to cover the Bank of America credit card, and that minimum payment is $227, and the current balance is $8,473, and we have paid $2,647 so far. Okay, and then we have the electric budget bill. I know this is a little out of order in terms of balance. I do apologize for that. So the electric budget billing was, we had got on the budget bill, and that means that you just pay the same amount every month. and they make adjustments behind the scenes for your usage. And they either deduct or they, meaning that you will have a credit on your account or you will have carry a balance on your account. And so for several months, we were carrying a balance on our account and I didn't even know it. But that started off at $248. That is now at $86. And we can't actually pay on it because the way the budget billing works is that if you are over your usage, then it holds onto a balance. But on the months where you are less than your usage, then it starts to pay that balance off. Excuse me. So that's exactly what we're in now. We're in like the kind of season whereby it's starting to pay the balance off each month because of our usage. This is the fall season. It's like the perfect kind of weather. The heat's not on, the air's not on, and so that kind of works in our favor. And so this one is just going to get gradually paid down over time, and I was unaware of that before, but I've got it now. So once that balance is completely clear, I think we're going to take ourselves off of budget billing and just go back to paying per usage. Next up is the consolidated student loan. Y'all, you see this balance? It is extremely expensive, but it is what it is. We already knew that. But what was crazy to me though, is the interest that got tacked on with just a month and a half of starting back up again. So many of us already know that the student loans went on pause for a period of time, thanks to the government. And during that pause, there was no interest that was accumulating. Well, I believe it was in September where they started allowing the interest to accumulate again, and payments weren't due until October. So in just that month and a half, I think this is as of the middle of October is when I looked at this number. It was about a month and a half of interest accruing. We have almost an $1,000 interest. So the balance started off at $106,145. It is currently sitting at $107. Well, at the time of writing this down, it was $107,268. That is roughly $1,000 worth of interest in just a month and a half. Do you see how serious this thing is? Student loans are just, interest is great when it's working in your favor, but it is horrible when you have interest on $106,000. Okay, and it's the interest is almost $1,000 within a month and a half. That's serious. So I'm not quite sure what we are going to do regarding the student loan. As of now, I have not made any payments on it. Minimum payment at the time was $324. I am currently on a payment plan with the student loan consolidators, but they're requiring $0. So I'm grateful for that. And then it's like a blessing and a curse, right? So if I just don't pay anything, then it's just going to each month keep accumulating thousands and thousands of dollars as it continues to go. So we have to figure out a plan. At this point, honestly, I'm hoping for a miracle. You know that song, Hoping for a Miracle, Expecting the Impossible? Just have to figure it out. I'm not sure exactly how, but we will get a plan together and just, after we get rid of these other ones, then we can heavily focus on these consolidated student loans. Next is consolidated student loan number 2, and that is my husband's student loan, and that's $121,517. $0 have gone towards this student loan because he is still in an in-school deferment, meaning that his loans are not accumulating interest and he is not required to pay. He is currently, for all those who may be new, pursuing his doctorate degree, and which is being paid for by his employer. So thank God for that. And so we don't have to necessarily worry about this one right now because it's not growing. It's not decreasing, but it's not growing. So that's a good thing. So we can concentrate on the other debts. Okay, so that gives us a grand total of $245,600 $621 that we have remaining, and a total debt payoff for the year of $17,078. Now, honestly, I didn't even think that that was possible. To be able to pay $17,078 in just 1 year for us, I am impressed. A huge accomplishment for us. Definitely not something that I thought was actually possible. So I am so grateful for the amount that we did pay. But the reality is that we need to step it up, right? I am fully aware that we have to get our butts in gear and get going. Over the summer months, we took our foot off the pedal and we slowed down on our debt payments because we were using those funds to travel and to see family and to do all the fun things that we like to do over the summertime. And while, the debate goes back and forth on that, right? Focus heavily on debt, pay it off, eat beans and rice and that sort of thing. The other side of the coin says, it's okay to sprinkle in some fun and some vacation time and do all the things because debt will be there. So, it depends on what side of the coin you decide to go with. But what we did is what we did, and that's in the past, and we have to move on from there. So our goal moving forward is to try to tackle this student loan number 1. We're going to try to hit this hard to get rid of this as quickly as we can by making additional payments. As you will see in a future video, I have wonderful Etsy payout and a side hustle income that will definitely contribute to paying down this student loan. And hopefully we'll be able to get that done, and then we can roll over those payments to our car, and then so on and so on. So here we are. This is the November debt update. Over here, my dashboard just reads, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." Matthew 6:33. This is a wonderful scripture that just reminds me to keep the things that are important at the forefront, and everything else will fall into place. And so that is going to be our focus moving forward. We're just going to try to focus on paying off the student loan number 1 and then snowballing the rest of the payments to the rest of the loan. So thank you all so very much for being here, for supporting my channel, for supporting my Etsy shop. I truly appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, you guys, bye.